Let's go ahead first off and let's just give all the students a nice warm welcome, right? So let's go ahead and break it in. Now, let me ask, is there anybody who would like to go first? All right, sir, come on up. Here we go. Oh. Okay, now remember, you got to talk loud like you're talking to the person in the back, all right? All right. Go ahead, plug it in.
Alright. Hi, my name is Drew. I'm 12 years old, and the name of my project is Drew's LED Array. The steps I made to make this project is, well, first, I got a code from Arduino. I 3D printed my parts on the 3D printer. I dimensioned them out on Tinkercad, and then put it on SD card and then put it on 3D printer. I hooked up my jumper wires from my Arduino and my breadboard, and I screwed on the pieces to my MakerStation and put the LEDs on, and then I was done with that. What I learned in CAD design is that my measurements had to be like exact, or else it won't like fit on my MakerStation. What I learned in CAD 3D printing is, well, first I learned like the basic steps, like my cam had to be closed, my plastic was in, and my PLA was preheated. And in programming, well, first I learned how to make an LED, and I kind of want to take that to the next level, so I made my LED array. And yeah, that was it. Any questions?
How does your project work?
I turned the potentiometer right here, and it turns the LEDs on and off.
Can you show it?
Alright.
I
Alright.
have a question.
Alright.
How many parts did you go through until you got your final 3D printed part that you wanted?
A lot, like maybe 8 or so, maybe more.
Any other questions?
Yeah. I was ready for that.
Go for it.
Let me help you. Okay. Hello. My name is Amber, and this is
Hannah,
Hannah is
9.
9, and this is about as far as we've gone with public speaking, so I'm going to help her out from here. What she made was a project that she's called One Love. She calls it One Love because even though they're two hearts, they still beat together as one. Hold it up a little bit so you can see better. Okay. She designed her project using Tinkercad. She learned how to transfer the files to a few different programs in order to design her hearts. And also the acrylic part that's in front of the heart there. She had to learn how to use the correct codes to get it from the computer, or from the internet to the computer, and then onto a card to use the 3D printing so that she could print everything out. Once everything was printed, we worked on it together to get it all glued into where it needs to go. All the wires in the back, resistors, everything that needed to be wired up is what we put on the back of there. Let's see. The things that she's learned, I think, the most is just how to have fun with it, and learned a lot in Tinkercad and how to design her hearts, print them out, make sure that there was a hole in the back, things that we never would have thought of without everybody here, but to put it all together and make it work. And the 3D printer, that was a lesson in itself. She learned how to load up the filament to preheat the bed, to take the SD card and know where to put it in there and get it all ready to go and made. And let's see here, in programming, we learned a lot about the Arduino board and how that has to be programmed in order and put in here and everything to make it work in the front. So she's able to learn how everything goes together on that. Favorite experience, she said, was learning how to do the 3D printing, learning just the different fun things, and she likes to see all of her hard work come to life there in her little project. Any questions? That was easy. All right.
And
Oh.
what was the hardest part for you in this project?
Programming some stuff.
Program. Yeah, that was kind of tricky, wasn't it? Yeah. Any other questions?
All right. We have a banana presenting tonight. It's kind of cool. Never had that before. It is a party. Okay. Party is a party. Here we go. All right, you got it.
My name is Kiers and I'm 11. And currently this project is called Pineapple Fish. To make this project, I had to use Canvas to pick the project slicer to get it all ready, and Tinkercad to get my print set, Arduino to get my code all working, and then I 3D printed it. And some things I learned in 3DX for 3D CAD design is that it isn't all that boring. And the 3D printing part that I learned that it could be really fun, but the programming thing is that I found out that it could be really hard. But my favorite experience was when I finished it. So, any questions?
We got some questions over there.
Amanda?
Why the banana costume?
I don't know. I just picked it. Ruby?
Why is it pineapple fish?
Because I didn't want to change it.
But why pineapple fish and not just fish?
So I could notice it more.
Is it half of a pineapple?
Well, that's pineapple fish.
My name is Owen, I'm 12 years old, and my project is called Opening Treasure Chest. So to make this project, I had to use my servo motor, my potentiometer, I had to hook them all up to my Arduino. I had to 3D print the parts. Some of the parts I got off Thingiverse, like my chest lid, the bottom of my chest, and my knob, and then the other parts I made on Tinkercad, like the bracket for the servo motor and the potentiometer. I also used Mesh Mixer to combine my parts and make these brackets. What I learned in 3D CAD design is I learned how to create brackets for my project. I learned how to make stuff in Tinkercad and use Slicer to 3D print it. And in 3D printing, I learned how to load my plastic onto the 3D printer, and I learned how to preheat it and put my STL card and basically get it printing. And for 3D programming, I learned how to hook up LEDs, my servo motor, potentiometer, and I learned how to make code for all of that to make it work. And my favorite experience in the 3DX class was creating my final project. Any questions?
What was the most difficult part putting that all together? Was it the potentiometer, or like what with the programming and everything else that you had to do? What was the toughest?
Probably printing the right parts.
Yeah.
Can you lift it up and show everybody how it works? Like lift it up so that they can see it in the back. Yeah. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Any other questions? All right, let's give them
My name is Ruby. I am 11 years old, and my final project is called Banana. First, I had to find the dragon on Thingiverse, and then I made the bracket in Tinkercad and attached it to the cat in Mesh Mixer. Then I attached it to the dragon in Mesh Mixer, and then I put it into Slicer so that I could export the G code to the 3D printer and print it. In this class, I learned how to make shapes in Tinkercad and how to work a 3D printer, and I learned how to program NeoPixels, which are the thing on the dragon's wings that are lighting up. My favorite experience in the class was making Banana. Any questions? You.
Why is it called banana?
Because why not?
Hi, my name is Kendall, and I am 10 years old. My final project is called Rocket. The steps I have to go to get to the end is I have to measure the piece of acrylic I wanted to use, then put it into CAD design. Next, I had to code the NeoPixels to light up. After it finished, I laser cutted the piece of acrylic. In CAD design, I learned how to add measurements and make different items. In 3D printing, I learned how to export the drive and use the 3D printer. In 3D programming, I learned that there is a lot of different types of code and how to use it. My favorite part of this class was learning different things and seeing my final project. Does anybody have any questions?
We hold it up so we can see it. Any other questions?
Why is that rocket ship 3D printed or is it a sticker?
No, it's actually laser cutted into something to light it up.
All right, let's give her a round of
Hello, my name is Jace, and I am the oldest of the group at 14 years, and my project is called Dragon Flame. So originally, I had this project idea where I would print a dragon and it would be breathing fire, and it was going to be awesome, but it was too detailed and the printer refused to print it. So what I ended up doing instead was Rob was extremely nice and printed me this piece of acrylic. And then what I had to do from there was print out the base after designing it in Tinkercad. And then I had to program the NeoPixels to change colors in Align. And then I just had to put it together. What I learned was that if you want to make a dragon, you have to do it on a very large scale. You have to print a lot of individual pieces. I learned basically everything that I know about the coding, how to make different items in Tinkercad, how to best search for things in Thingiverse, and I built this. I think my favorite thing was probably the coding because I'm in robotics and it kind of helped me figure out some of the problems I was having there, and so it was pretty helpful. Any questions?
What did you find the most challenging about your project?
So I probably spent the first good 4 or 5 days working on the dragon that didn't end up working, and so this was probably the last 3 weeks. So it was kind of difficult, especially because I wasn't here last week. So I got this built and printed and coded in basically 2 days. full of work. Sam?
If you like watching the,
Yes. That was fun. Any other questions?
All right. Sir. All righty, who's next? Come on up. Ready for this?
My name is Samuel. I'm 11 years old. My final project is called an anime logo. So what I did, I technically I used Tinkercad and Thingiverse. The anime logo is from Tinkerverse, and the base is from Tinkercad, I think. Technically, what I was supposed to do is when I was supposed to use a button, this button right here, and then I had use NeoPixels when I pressed the button and technically light it up again. And the thing that I really like making this project is because I was making one of my favorite animes, and any questions? No?
Does anybody have any questions? All right, we got one.
Sorry. You said it was an anime logo. Which show was it?
My Hero Academia.
Hello, I'm Landon, and I'm 11 years old. And my final project is called Marble Run. The steps that it took to make this possible were to look on Thingiverse for Lego compatible Marble Run pieces. After that, I loaded it into Slicer and turned it into a G-code. I loaded the G-code onto an SD card, which I then put into the 3D printer and started printing. What I learned about 3D CAD design is that you have to load the filament into the cam after you preheat the PLA. Something I learned about 3D programming is how you use an Arduino and NeoPixels using the Arduino app. Then what I learned about 3D printing is that you can make anything from a ball to a dragon. Well, like Jay said, maybe. My favorite part about this experience was when I messed up on previous projects, because I got to learn from when I screwed to no extent. It was also my favorite part because I was taught how to fix my problems. Does anyone have any questions?
I can't see your thing.
Oh, yes, I should show that. So this is just part of my project. So you put the marble down here and it rolls. Sam?
Are you gonna make more of this?
I have more of it.
What?
Anyone else?
All right.
Lucas, can you just show us how it works?
Can you hold it up for everybody? It's a really good project. It really is. Awesome. All right, let's give them a round of applause.
My name is Maxwell Edwards, and my age is 9. My project is called Raging Red Bull. The steps that it took me to make this project was I had to get this bull off of Thingiverse. Then I had to upload put it onto Slicer, and I had to 3D print it, and then I had to get the code and put the pieces together and wire it up. What I learned in this class about 3D CAD design was